Hello, everyone, and welcome to Africa Fire Mission's weekly virtual training session. My name is Mike, and I'm the programs director here at Africa Fire Mission, and we're so happy that you took time out of your busy schedules to join us for today's training. Today, we're joined by Alex Rurira. He is got a lot of years of experience working as a firefighter, did some training with us through AFM, and we're happy to have him join us today. He's going to be talking about interpersonal communications as we continue on our little theme of good communication in the fire and EMS service. Before he gets started with today's class, let me just touch on a couple of administrative items. If you stick around for at least 70% of today's training, which is usually about 40 or 45 minutes, you can receive a certificate of attendance for today's training. If something happens where you get cut off, your network drops, or you've maybe got to take an emergency call, don't worry, there's some other ways that you can still earn that certificate of attendance. If you head over to our webpage at www.africafiremission.org, there's a resources tab there. That resources tab is filled with all kinds of free information that's there for you guys to utilize different resources. Underneath that training tab, you'll find a link to the 2025 virtual training sessions. That'll take you to a Google Drive where we got some forms on there that have recordings of all the trainings, including today's training. You watch the video recording of the training, answer a few questions to let us know that you've learned something from the training, and I'll get you that certificate of attendance as well. While we're talking about those certificates, know that the name that you're using as your screen name is the name that'll show up on your certificate. So if you need to make any adjustments to your name or the spelling, please be sure to take care of that while you're logged in here to the meeting. If you're sharing your screen with some other folks, that's a great way to save on your bundles and data. Uh, Let me know. Shoot me a email. I'll drop my email in the chat in just a few moments here, and shoot me an email. Let me know who else is watching on that same screen with you, and I'll be sure to get them a certificate of attendance for the training as well. When we get finished with today's training at the top of the hour, we transition into our tea time. I would encourage you, if you've got the time in the bundles, to stick around for that. Um, that's a time where you can ask some questions about today's training. You can network with some other firefighters from throughout all of Africa and specifically the Middle East as well. If you check out the chat already, you can see where folks are from. As we continue on here, please feel free to introduce yourself in the chat and let us know who you are and where you're from. With that, I think we're going to get started with today's training. I'm going to pass things over to my friend Alex to get us started.
Uh, Thanks, Mike. Can everyone hear me?
We've got you.
Oh, yeah, thanks. I want to take this opportunity to thank you, Mike, and all organizers of this important training and training platform for allowing me to take us through today. Thank you for everyone for joining in. I'm all introduced, and my name is right there on the screen from Rurira County, and I'm happy to be here. It's a training on communication, interpersonal communication, which means that, of course, communication should be effective today in this particular setup. So I hope you can give any feedback to me through the chat or, yes, especially through the chat. That would be very, very important. And I would like actually to start us off with an activity. Let's think about, it's called sticky fish. Stinky fish, sorry, not sticky, stinky, smelly. Like when I think about just anonymous, I don't know how we can do this anonymously, but feel free. You can write us on the chat about an issue or a fear you have about communication. Any issue or a fear you have about communication. Could be anything on formal communication, communication at your workplace, Could be on how you personally communicate. It could also be about um, maybe some challenges or benefits of communication uh, in online or virtual situations like this setup. It could also be about probably some feedback about how this platform has been communicating. It could also be recap or feedback from last week's training on formal communication from Aero. It could be anything, just a fear or an issue about communication. Just drop it on the chat. As we continue, I will be interested to see some of the things that we're gonna share. Yes, let's communicate today. I'll start sharing my screen right now. Uh, uh, so,
Looks good.
looks good. Yeah. Um, so I'm still looking forward to your chats, and maybe I'll stop the share for a while and try to share better again. Yes. So so today we want to discuss about interpersonal communication as I continue to wait for what you could have, and this is the objectives for the day. We want to know by the end of the session, I'd expect that you would be able to maybe define what is interpersonal communication, maybe see what are the benefits of this, understand the C's of effective communication briefly, and then maybe I will share some nuggets or key elements of interpersonal communication. Key elements. Feel free as we continue to ask a question about the chat, give some feedback, or seek clarification, make a contribution. You're most welcome. So the reality of life is that we have, and we keep relating. Even right now, we are in this relationship, in this training, that all of us have this issue in common. We are in the class. And though this is too formal that one person has to keep sharing and the others could keep quiet, it is a relationship. And sometimes even as we sit down in setups, you can see like in this picture, there are different people with different ideas going on. Everyone, the limits of their personality or position, putting some pressure on them. Like one is saying his point is invalid or his points are invalid. The lady is wondering, when will I get to speak? Somebody is saying, I know everything and I am right. Somebody else is being carried away or changed by the other person's opinion. And somebody is not even interested. And so this is reality. Even today, if you go to a bus, it's on your way home, or you're making a phone call, you're in a meeting, you're with your boss in the office, maybe you have a family, you and your children and spouse, you have to keep communicating. And that is interpersonal communication right there. And the greatest challenge ever is to get people to work together, walk together, which involves talking together. And that is the essence of communication. We have to communicate. And communication is the process of transferring a message or a signal between two parties. That is, one is the sender, the first sender, and the second one is the receiver, the recipient. The sender will have something to say or share, we will encode it and use a medium that will take it to the recipient. The process is such as on this screen right now, you can see. So the initiator of communication is the sender, but all people are communicating. So he will use a medium, hopefully the correct one, because that's one of the important factors to be able to choose which is the correct medium. If you want to talk to your boss, maybe you don't want to use the wrong medium, for example. But for a friend, you could use anything, text message, even an emoji, you see. And then the receiver decodes, and that is the essence of effective communication, that if you encode something and your intended recipient cannot get it right, then this breakdown, it's not effective. Also, if you use the wrong medium, that makes you either ignored or misunderstood, or there will be delay. For example, you send a letter to the post office today in Kenya. Somebody could get it after 1 month, maybe a half. And if it was something that required instant feedback, response, or action, that's a new. So, and there are so many barriers to communication, such as which you could write for me in the chat. What are the barriers? What has been your experience with communication in whichever space, at work, at home, with them, in your extended family? So this is communication in general. There is the process of the sender sending a communication, a communicate through media, the medium. Then a good recipient will also now send feedback, make sure the sender knows. And this is particularly important in our work as firefighters. We always want to communicate. We communicate or people are at risk. We communicate or someone could even die. So the orders of the leaders have to be heard clearly and understood, well executed, and feedback shared, reports done. So interpersonal communication in particular is defined as communication that takes place between people who are interdependent or have some knowledge of each other. So for example, speaking to your family, when a father speaks to the son, a boss to the person who works under them, and the reverse. That is actually interpersonal communication right there. So today, you can all just pause for 1 minute. Speaking of pausing, I'm sorry. I will tell you something in a minute. But for this particular minute, think about this. What could be? Reflect on the interpersonal communications you've had today. When you had to speak to your colleague, to your wife, to your husband, to your child, to a teacher who trains your child, or whoever. Just think about it. Just try to think or interrogate the situation. Was it effective? Did you hear it? Did you understand? Did they understand you? Was it effective? And maybe I just remembered, for example, that something about pausing for a minute. This is nothing to do with communication. I just remembered that today, and I believe most or a good number of our participants are from Kenya. And today, Kenya is mourning that one of our iconic politicians and leader, the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, passed away in India today. I know we could be mourning, of course, or we are mourning. Just to share my encouragement to all of us. We're in this together, and part of that. We lost, but it's well because he did his best when he was with us. And so we continue in communication. For example, right now, I just was able to share with us how I feel about the situation, that I know we lost an icon. I mourn his loss, and I feel all of us need to console each other. And right there is communication. Of course, you may not have the opportunity to give me some feedback on this. This communication is just part of daily life. So what are the benefits? Why should we have interpersonal communication? What are the benefits? Windfalls, there means benefits. What is the, what could we gain from this? So effective interpersonal communication is vital to the survival, growth, functioning, and even thriving. And that is in general life. If you are as good as you can communicate. So to survive, you need to communicate. You need to even share your ideas with people. You need to sometimes get some help. You need sometimes to, for growth. In fact, learning is all about communication of knowledge, skills, and attitudes passed to you by trainer, even to grow in the career, even to function, to do our work, to thrive in our businesses, in our families, and even to thrive. Because if you can survive well and keep growing and functioning, then you will be said to be thriving. And so if we could outline just these benefits, one, interpersonal communication helps us to guard and maintain our relationships. We said it's all about relating. It's all about talking to one another. So if you can communicate well interpersonally, of course, you can have healthy relationships and they will thrive. Some of us lose the people we love or the people that we have to have. For example, you can't do away with one of your siblings. You can't fire your colleague at work. So some of us lose our relationship because of poor communication on our part or theirs. So to keep relationships healthy, we have to learn to communicate. Maybe somebody will from today communicate better to their wife or child. Maybe that relationship is going to thrive and to be a very big gain for this topic. Another thing is making requests. We need to make requests. We also need to pass orders. And one of the things that baffled me, especially from when I started to grow, because I thought it was not important, it is small talk. I never thought small talk was important, but by now I know it's very important to have small talk. When it's relevant, we had a small tea time with Mike before this started, Jeff Mike, and we were able to laugh and have some time as we prepared to host you. So it's a very crucial point. We need to even learn to speak to people, have some time informally, Leadership. I'm actually going to pass a key quote on this topic today that a leader is as good as they can communicate. Any great leader is a great communicator. You are as good as you can communicate as a leader. Empathy work. If we care about people and we need to let them know, because caring is, you don't do it offline, we have to learn to, of course, communicate. Empathy, showing care, showing concern, and doing something about it. For example, if you had the phone number of Mama Ida Odinga today, you would want to somehow send a condolence message. That's empathy. Yeah. Another thing that is important to do that only communication will help you, besides character, is conflict resolution. Two important things in conflict resolution is character and then communication. Communication. Resolve conflicts, resolve disagreements and fights. We need to communicate. And of course, we are all in the workplace. We are all functioning in a functional space where we work and build our countries and fire brigades, for example, EMS stations. We have to communicate to work. So we therefore need to have some good skills for communication to be functionally effective. To be functionally effective. Look at the picture on your screen. Think about it. What do you see? What do you see? What stands out for you? Just look at it 1 minute. Yeah. I blink on my screen, I can see two faces, two people. They appear to have some kind of connection. They appear to be saying something to one another, of course. And that is life daily. Facing people, facing our fears. Before we carry on this part, I want to just help us to become effective communicators in general, effective communicators or effective interpersonal communicators. There are 7 C's of effective communication. And maybe just to give a caveat that some people say 5, some say 4. And of course, you can express the same elements without using letter C words. Okay. Like courtesy can be etiquette, right? Yeah. So I'm going to go with the 7 C's for today. So, but if you know them as different words, that's okay. The big idea is to carry the meaning home. One of the things that helps communication to be very effective is completeness. Completeness. What you share with others should be complete. If you just say something and we are having gaps, it's not about how courteous, sweet, strong words, but at least what were you saying? That's the whole point. And in completeness, we want to share something. I'm the sender right now. I would wish, God willing, to give you a complete interpersonal communication delivery. Now, if I want to, for example, give a communication in the fire station, I want to tell the shift commander to go and maybe check. What's a good example? Maybe he needs to go and refuel or fill the tank, the gas tank of the fire truck. I have to be sure about, for example, the 5 W's. Who am I talking to? And maybe to do or tell who what. So who are we talking about? So I'm the deputy fire chief. I'm telling the shift commander. Yeah. Maybe to tell the driver or to go with the driver. Yeah. That is the idea, is who is doing what. And then what? What are they doing? So I have said the shift commander, fellow shift commander, this is the order or the instruction. Go and fill the gas tank. Go and fill the gas tank of the fire truck. Then it should also entail when. For example, if you are the fire chief or the shift commander, and you tell people, okay, today, make sure you clean the duty house, and you're done. But you didn't say when. They can decide to clean it at midnight, even if you said it at 8 a.m. So it's not complete if you didn't say when. Maybe you can say now, or I need the duty house cleaned by 8 a.m. Of course, by whom? And then the third one is and what, you see. Then the 4th W is where. Like, for example, clean the duty house. Where is whatever you're talking about happening? If I'm sending the shift commander to go and refill the truck, I should be able to tell maybe to which station, which gas station are we using. Then something that many leave out is why. Why? And that is why is very key for interpersonal communication. Most people, we think it gives us some power not to explain why we say what we say, especially commanders, people with rank. You enjoy the mystery of I give orders and they are followed regardless. And that's okay. But if you want to go far with people, They want to know why. For example, if you tell us to do 20 push-ups, we'd really love to know why. If you want us to do a debriefing after every incident, help us to buy it. Help us to know why. Why is it important for us? Why is it good for anybody in the world to do what you're saying? So completeness is a very key element of effective communication. The other one is conciseness. Concise. The message you give should be concise. Concise means you should be able to convey the message using the fewest words. Avoid wordy expression. Include only relevant material. And if possible, try a direct to the point approach. Now, most of us, you will discover there are times that, especially on gratitude, requests, gratitude and requests, and also under pressure orders, like in the firefighting, emergency work, for example. You can tell somebody, do you know where the tourniquet is? I need especially a black tourniquet because this person is bleeding out. I mean, you could just say, Alex, pass to me the tourniquet now. It's enough. I know what you want, when, why, right now. See? And I was saying this, especially when you're giving gratitude and making requests or giving orders, the more you use words, the more you're likely to say something that you shouldn't say. One day somebody came to request me for permission to do something. And he was like, tomorrow I need to attend to this, kindly. May I get your permission to do it? Then I said, what are you talking about? He gave me the situation and I said, yes, you can do it. But he went ahead to also tell me that, I felt if I do it without telling you, that would be wrong. It's good to tell you. Actually, you see, at the end of the day, I was left wondering, it means like he actually felt he had an option not to ask for permission. But so he was trying to prove it's so good that he asked. And, for me, that was wrong. Sometimes when you give gratitude, you see, you gave me this. I know you knew I even have mine, but you still give me anyway. At the end of the day, you water down what you were saying. So when applicable, and mostly it is convey the message using the fewest words. Another one is consideration, and this one is powerful for me. Considerations means you have to consider the receiver's situation or interest or intention. Like you have to know who is my audience, who are they? Like how you talk to your best friend is not how you talk to your commander or your fire chief. Consider the culture, consider their situation, consider how many they are, consider how close you are, consider what appeals to them, consider their personality and their temperament, mind their personal attributes. Some people are still human, but it could just do you good to call them sir in your communication, and it makes you have an easier time. And consideration also is kindness. Show the audience what's the benefit of what you're saying and what you're doing. Also, for consideration, also give positivity when you can. Make sure it's possible to feel the positivity. Another C is concreteness. And this means that the message should be specific and not general. Like use specific facts and figures. Concrete means it's not continuous. It's discrete. Like what I tell you is it has a level of clarity and ease to get. If I tell you, come to my office now, it's very clear. But if I just say come where? Maybe concreteness means if we're talking about, I'm giving a command, I lay fire hoses to this fire as a commander. Maybe that is not as effective as if I would say, I want you to build the fire line from the fire engine to the fire using three delivery hoses. Use the foam branch, for example. Use the foam inductor instead of loading the foam, picking up the foam through the pump. It's so clear what I want. Facts, you know what I'm talking about. You don't have to build something else to interpret what I'm saying. Another C that is really critical is clarity, and it's a relative of the previous. The message should be very clear so that the reader can understand it easily. Sometimes we are not clear. Or maybe we have to use hard words, but we don't clarify. And this is common, especially in our continent, in our country, Kenya. Like sometimes we give speeches and all we prefer is to have a good accent, maybe hard vocabulary, for example. And we don't care if people will get what we say. Communication is only effective if the receiver gets what you intended them to get. So if somebody only knows how to be told congratulations, and then I tell you felicitations, and you don't know what felicitation means, you are not congratulated yet. Yeah? So it's not about good vocabulary, a nice accent, a tone, or good English, but did they get what you're saying? That's why sometimes we go up to mother tongue. It's not about being classy and sassy. It's about passing the correct information with total clarity, absolute clarity. Maybe just to finish this up, courtesy, we must be courteous in communication. We should use courteous statements. Even commands can be given with respect. And this is especially important in our paramilitary setup as emergency responders. It doesn't mean because we have rank, we can just lash out on people, break their hearts and esteem, massage our egos with arrogance. So courteous communication generates a special tone. And it means that, actually, this is my message on courtesy, that it's equally important or even more important how you say something as it is important what you say. Don't stop on what you want to say, but finish it up with how you say it. I hope that one is clear because it's special to me. When possible, be courteous. And I know it always is. Let's pursue peace. Let's pursue dignity for all, you know. And the other one, I think it's the last one, is correctness. This one we know. Is what you're saying correct? Are you using the correct word? Are the facts and figures, you know, in sync with the situation? Especially in writing, we should write the correct thing. But also in speech. Jeff Mike just told me that one day he had to introduce somebody, and his name, his African name, was so difficult that, and at the same time, when you mention it wrong, you give a wrong variation that means something insulting. And so he was afraid because it will look bad because he will say the wrong thing. So correctness. And correctness actually means we should pursue communication with excellence. I hope that somebody is feeling like they will want to become an excellent communicator. We have to improve on our delivery, whether we're speaking just to the friend, the spouse, to the child, or even to the enemy, to colleagues, etc. Now, I want at this juncture to give us a moment to pause and just reflect. For you, which C for you has been difficult? Maybe also choose which C maybe you are very good at. Think about it. Is your communication complete? If it's good, clap for yourself. If it's not, you know, improve on that. Are you clear? Is there clarity in your communication? Just think about it. How clearly do you communicate? Do people tell after you send that text message to your lover? Do they get clearly what you're saying? Are you concise? Do you use word expressions? Or are you direct to the point, yet in a subtle way, not terse or abusive? If yes, you tap yourself on the back. If no, improve on this. Consideration. Do you consider the person you're talking to before you lash out on them? You know. Then is what you say concrete? Are the facts and figures well checked? Is it just an open statement that somebody can do whatever with? How about courtesy? When you speak to people, are they left wondering who are your parents, who you went to school, who is your mentor, do you fear God? Or are people left wondering, do we still have such people still around? Chivalrous people. Now, correctness. Is what you say true? Some people, we don't pursue excellence. If you say the correct things, appreciate yourselves. If not, improve on this. I want to go to the final objective and just want to strike out in like 15 minutes. 3 areas that I think are so important for us to check into. On interpersonal communication, one of the things that we must be able to look at is our vulnerability and the vulnerability of others. Maybe you can write for us on the chat what it means to be vulnerable. Vulnerability is that art of allowing yourself to be accessed, at length by others. I'm not talking about like vulnerability to disasters, how susceptible you are to a challenge. No, I mean, how much can you let people in? And how do you recognize this as important? Because some people also, we are poor at handling vulnerable people. Your spouse decides to tell you how their day was, and you feel like they're stupid or unnecessarily petty. And if we're going to have good firehouses, especially emergency responders, all of us face a heavy toll. We must learn to be vulnerable, but reasonably so. Maybe not to everyone. You should build your criteria of who to open up to, I guess. Because one of the reasons people are not communicating well to us back, mostly is because of how poor we ourselves communicate to them. If you don't let people in, they will also not let you in. And these are some of the advantages of being vulnerable, that you are able to build your resilience. How? First, it means that everyone around you becomes a resource. They're part of your resilience. But also yourself, maybe, like we say in Kenya, unaongea inakutoka. If something, for example, is stressing you, you can speak it out. And once it's shared, the burden is lighter. And of course, it opens room for people to care back, on which they could share in the burden. And actually, vulnerability will strengthen our relationships. The question is not whether we should be vulnerable. It is maybe how well do we choose who to be vulnerable to? Who do we trust? And we must also ask ourselves, are we also quality friends? Are we, do people feel safe around us? So I want you right now to just pause and reflect. First, are you vulnerable? Try to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. How vulnerable are you? How easily can you speak out when challenged? How easy do you accept feedback and correction? How easy do you also courteously communicate your grievances? Just think about it. Are you the kind of person who thinks it's mysteriously powerful to be hidden, to be a mystery, to be? These are the kind of people who can die and nobody knows, because no one knows your last location, what you did last, how you felt last. It will be important for us, especially to fight the battle of mental health, to improve on how how well we can trust other people. Just choosing the right ones that work for you, not everybody, not the world. And I want you for once to think about this. I am amazed and baffled at how today we easily open up online, but to nobody. I know so many friends who can say anything on social media, how they feel, how they dressed, where they went, what they did, but they don't have a single person they can tell in person. It's a challenge for you. Uh, I think it's a sign of poverty or lack of people to be able to put yourself out there when you have no one to really reach out to in person. I mean, we have to improve on how easy we can open up. And you see, it's a give and take issue. If you choose the right people, uh, they are your support system, as you are theirs. I don't know what is your rating. Did you find if you made a 7 in your own honest assessment, I mean, you're doing really well. If you are 4 to 6, you can do better, but you are on a fair average. If your vulnerability index is, well, below 4, then it's too low. It's too bad. And how can you improve on your vulnerability? It's just said, just know that what happens to you happens to other people too. Just know that the world needs you, but you also need the world. Appreciate that you have a breaking point. Appreciate that there is more to life than just you bottling up stuff. Understand that sometimes you lose more by keeping your shame to yourself or your fears or needs than you could lose by sharing. And sometimes when I'm deciding what to share, I usually weigh like what could go wrong if I share and what could go right. Then I go, what could go wrong if I don't share, and what could go right if I don't share. And I would check, I'll do a comparative analysis of both, and most often I'll find that when it's a really important issue, there is more benefit in sharing than not sharing. For example, if people think I'm a fool because I asked a question in the classroom, well, they may laugh at me, but I get my answer. And to me, that goes way far for me than keeping quiet and people can assume I'm very smart. Yet I don't know the thing that I need to know. Just for an example. Another idea I'd like us to share about as we move towards the conclusion is accountability and responsibility. And we have to be able not to be like Cain, who in the story, I know I'm sensitive that we could be from different religions, and that's okay. But according to the Christian faith in the Bible, in the book of Genesis, we see Cain, the elder brother of Abel, was not willing or even able to answer as to what was happening to Abel, you know. And he says, am I my brother's keeper? And I would say, yes, you should be. The subject matter is not whether you are or not, you are or should be. And if you're not, maybe you're just failing at your responsibilities. Now, accountability means that we have to choose to be having people that we can talk to about sensitive information. And at the same time, we have also to be responsible because we are also that person to somebody else. And it's usually very sweet when it's mutual. Right? I have people that I can talk to, or I can tell where I am. I have people who can call me to shape, who can call me up when I'm wrong. At the same time, it's my responsibility to align and size up to that. And then at the same time, I'm the same for them. And so I feel responsible. I can share what requires to be shared about. This is very important. So accountability is how does this affect communication? Generally, to be accountable for others, you have to communicate. For example, who knows where you are right now, what you could be doing? That's accountability. And if they know, then it means you communicated. Then if they are responsible, they could probably be expecting to know whether you made it back finally after all. And if you made the objective, are you safe? All this is important. Another important nugget that I think is important in interpersonal communication is listening, the art of listening. Most of the successful people, this is Bernard Baruch saying, most of the success people that he knew are the ones who would do more listening than talking. More often than not, we have pressure to show off what we have up our sleeves, inside our chests, and that's good. And most of us, I know, are instructors. I'm a firefighter, and our career is loud, noisy. Even our trucks have to scream as we go to the scene, and I know it's just so obvious that my boss thinks or believes that if you are not loud enough, then you're not a good enough firefighter, and that's okay. It's true. You need to communicate, but as well, how well can you listen? And somebody said that that's why we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. You should be able to listen. Listening is an art. It's actually what we could call active listening. It means that you're able to first maybe appreciate that you need to hear so that you can have something to say. Especially when we're handling people who are in grief or challenged, or when somebody is opening up to you, or you're a boss, the juniors come to make a request. Before you have a response or something to say, it would be important to hear them. After you have heard, one, you would easily have something to say. You would have a response. Then it is about also suppressing ego and overconfidence. I know it all. I have it all figured out. All that. Another thing is learning to give undivided attention. Have you ever gone to an office and somebody was supposed to listen to you? They didn't leave their phone. They talked to you without looking at your eyes. They still looked like they were looking into the book or the computer. They didn't even lean in forward to you. How did you feel? You must learn to give people quality. I prefer to give people lesser time than a long time without quality. Mostly, especially on people who need to trust you and you need to share trust with. And the world needs people who want to be listened to, even for teamwork. When people discover you can listen, they are willing to work with you better because everybody's voice counts. It's not about sounding nice or smart, but getting the right result. And sometimes we have this desire to want to be listened to and think that most things will just fall in place. It's important for us to be objective on this one than defensive. Oh, I knew what he was going to say. I'm smart enough to, or I'm the boss, I can just do whatever I want. But just take a time and listen. Sometimes it's even better if you don't have the time to listen, you can tell somebody, I can give you quality time right now. If it's not an emergency, kindly see me tomorrow at this time. Give an appointment. You can tell your spouse, I'm busy right now, the emergency. Or how about we talk about this when I get home and I can give you my all attention. Now, just to wrap it up, maybe another thing we need to improve, especially on interpersonal communication, especially in the spaces of family and work, especially for the team and for the teams, is to decide to be safe persons and spaces. I would ask you, are you a safe person? If you're a boss, is your team or your shift or your workspace a safe space? This is very important. Are you safe to be around? And as much as safe could mean just safe, I would like to give it in this sense, just break it down. Just some important words. One of them, let's have S for secure. Secure. What secure means is that people around you do not feel threatened that they would lose their position. And this helps them to be vulnerable. Secure means I can be myself without being afraid of unnecessary or excessive judgment. So, and that's how your team, for example, if you're the boss, needs to feel that. Maybe we can say we need better PPE without thinking that we'll be disciplined for speaking out. Of course, we have to say it cautiously, courteously, in the right manner, right channel. But are we secure? If you have set up space where your friends think that if they open up, they will be judged or they will be condemned, they will not speak up. A for affable. Affable just means friendly, social. Mostly we are people that sometimes, especially when you're a high ranking person, you think it's more cool for you to just be unapproachable. Somebody can be human with you. And just to say that people are not robots, they are real humans. And it's important to have decorum, good character, to be sensitive, to catch us. But nevertheless, people should need the space to be human, to feel, to think, to say. Then F for fun. Somehow, especially to maintain our mental health, we need to make spaces that people can, blow some steam off, just have some fun. I hope this speaks the right things, like fun. And finally, E for exciting. E for exciting. Uh, exciting means we have made a space that is so comfortable, so homely, so safe that if somebody, for example, is away, for example, they're off shift or on leave, they're excited about the first day when they come back, wondering, how is everyone? I want to see Alex. That's exciting. If you, for example, are shift commander or fire chief or deputy, people resign the days they return to work, then you have a lot of work to do. But by and large, in this safe thing is that people are able to communicate. People can tell each other, can speak to the leadership. A spouse has no problem. They're not working on eggshells when they have a request to make, or even a grievance to speak out, or even a joke to share, or even a moment to have fun. Of course, thank you so much. I would like to stop there. That is the plan for me. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it was insightful. Maybe I would take a question if we have one, just to leave you with this, that it was actually Epictetus, a Greek philosopher who lived long ago, who said we have 2 ears, one mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. Thank you very much. And
Excellent,
I hope you
Alex.
have
Way
a
to
lot
go.
that you've taken home.
Great lessons there. Uh, we've got just a couple more minutes left in the formal portion of our training. Let me just adjust the settings. If there's any questions that you may have or anything you'd like to comment on, you can go ahead and drop a question or a comment in the chat. You could use the raise hand feature. Or you can just go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question or make your comment. As we're wrapping up the formal portion of our training here, let me just get our closing comments in. If you've got some time, I invite you to stick around. We'll be transitioning into our tea time, where we'll be able to continue the discussion and get a chance to network. You can see we've got people from all over the continent there. So let me just wrap things up here on the formal portion with a big thank you to Alex for coming and join us today. And this was his first time training here and presenting with us. And I think you'll probably all agree he did a fantastic job. So we'll be inviting him to come back in the future and present us with some more training, some great topics here, some great things to think about as we look at how we communicate with each other while we're on the job, while we're interacting with each other, and even expanding that out into the public. You know, sometimes our fire brigades are struggling with that respect from the community, and you know, the way that you communicate with the community members as well, those personal interactions that you have when you're on the scene, showing, you know, sort of your compassion for the things that they've lost, or the, you know, the injury that they may have occurred, or really the way you communicate and the way uh, that you interact with them can really do a lot to build things up, to build your capacity. So uh, great training today. Great topic. Very important. So thank you, Alex. Thank you for being here and training with us today. And thank you to all of you for taking the time out of your schedules to come, for using your bundles to join us for this training. We don't take that for granted, that you're using your own time and your own money to come here and learn something new that might help to better your skills so that you can better serve your community. I think that's what we're all here for, right? Is to how do we best serve our communities and grow our knowledge and share our knowledge. So thank you to all of you. Be sure to head over to our webpage at www.africafiremission.org. Check out the resources tab, like I mentioned at the start of the training, filled with all sorts of good information and free resources for you to utilize while you're out there doing training, fire prevention, public education. There's all sorts of good resources there. So please head on over there, check that out. If there's someone that you think may benefit from the training that we're offering here on Wednesdays, also be sure to share that registration link for this class. We've got plenty of seats here in the classroom. With that, I'm going to wrap things up. Thank you all, and I hope to see you all again next week.